You're now tuning into
The Cover Gang.
What is going on, Cover Gang? NFL Week 15. We're about to go over all of the 4 o'clock games, the primetime games. We got we have a good Sunday night football game. It's the Ravens and Jaguars, and a good Monday night game, Eagles in Seattle. So, and then the Bills and Cowboys play in primetime, the 4 o'clock slate. So, 3 out of these 5 games are must watch. If you haven't already, go back and look. Me and Justin went over all of the Saturday NFL games, the 1 o'clock slate games. We disagreed on a few, but pretty aligned, and we got some heavy units out there. A lot of unit and a half games, a couple double units out there, so tune into that one. But anyways, without further ado, Justin will read off the spreads. He will tell you who he's taking. I'll tell you who I'm taking, see if we agree, and we'll tell you how much we're putting on each game.
All right, first up in the 4 o'clock slate, we got the 49ers at the Cardinals. It's been all the way back in 2019 since the Cardinals have covered as home underdogs against the 49ers. So 49ers have just had their number, just blowing them out by like 20 in the past 3 or 4 contests specifically. I hate betting this game because I'm fighting a trend right here, which I normally don't do. It just feels like a let off the gas spot for this 49ers team.
I got the Ravens next week.
They've been playing some tough teams, and here they are playing a team that they always blow out. Last 3 or 4, they definitely have blown out by 20. So it's just like, they're just cruising along. Like, this is a cakewalk. I like the Cardinals at plus 13.5 right here. 80% of the bets, of course, coming in on the 49ers. Hasn't really mattered that much this year, but I'll just take the points here and hope they don't get slaughtered for like the 5th time in a row, and show some moxie, Cardinals. Like, show us why you're not their little divisional beaten up like punching bag dummy. So just do something and keep it within 10. Jesus.
I'm on double unit Cardinals plus 13.5.
Whew. I'm just doing regular unit. Yeah. Double unit. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, I just think they're looking over because what you said, and like I said, they have Baltimore coming to San Fran next week, and I could see Cardinals actually maybe pulling off the upset.
Oh, come on!
Kyler Murray, James Conner. I see it being a relatively high scoring game.
1-2. Kyler Murray,
Hollywood Brown.
That's the only
Hollywood Brown's
That's the
out there.
only people on the team.
But no, I do. I like the Cardinals good here. They're coming off a bye, and San Fran's had their number, like you said, since 2019. I think they finally right the ship and they cover 13.5. I don't like it. It hurts, but I firmly believe that the Cardinals make us a game, so I'm double unit.
Ride that ship, Cardinals. Let's see it. All right, next up, we got the Commanders at the Rams. Oh, man. The betting market could not be lower on this Commanders team. Everybody is out, and for good reason. Ever since they traded off Montez Sweat and Chase Young, they have no pass rush. And the cornerbacks, the secondary of that team, is the worst in the league, in my opinion. However, this Commanders team, we cannot forget when they're dogs like this. They're 5-1 as road underdogs this year. It's been a little bit since they've covered. I think they're due. Everyone's on the Rams right here. Rams are just 2-2 as home favorites, so no real edge in the trend for them. I'll take the Commanders plus 6.5 because it's gross and no one else will, but that's what we do, baby. That's what we do.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. Regular unit play. Commanders also coming off a bye. Yeah, this Rams. It hurts because I could just see Matthew Stafford, especially with not getting rushing.
Let's just say it.
Commanders' rush defense is bad too, and like Kyron Williams, Nakua, Cooper Kupp, like it just seems so obvious that you have to go the other way. I don't have any real football points on why the Commanders should stay in this game, but where it's set at 6.5, it hasn't touched the 7. I think that there's a reason. So I'm taking Commanders at a regular unit play.
What about an outright upset in this one?
Nope. I don't see it.
I'm not gonna lie. I could see it for some weird reason. I could just see it.
Okay. I call Cardinals upsetting the 49ers. You got a better chance.
Yeah, I'm telling you, in football, like this 5 to 6, 7 spot, there's always one of those 5 to 7 spreads that upsets, and you just don't know which one. But I don't know. Maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got the Cowboys at the Bills, a marquee matchup. Really important game for the Bills here. If they win out, they could potentially win the division. We just talked about after the Cowboys, it's easy sledding for them. And the Dolphins, well, it just gets harder and harder from here on out. So they could, in some world, they could win the division still, which just seems crazy based on what's been happening earlier in the year. But yeah, sharps have pushed this number from -1.5 to 2.5, and well, just about a couple hours ago, it went back to 1.5 and 2. So little sharp money bought the Cowboys at 2.5, and Vegas didn't like that. So look, this is one of the games I mentioned in the early slate where all the sharps are all aligned. They're all saying take it. That was the Lions in the 1 o'clock slate that I thought that they were all aligned on. So this is the other one. They're all saying take the Bills. Okay, we'll do it. I'll take the Bills -1.5. This game means a lot more to them than it does the Cowboys. They're playing a lot better as of recently, and I haven't been that great at predicting their spread. So I was initially thinking Cowboys in this one, so maybe that's a good sign. It was my initial first feeling about it. So regular unit play for me just seems like a crowded, sharp side, but Cowboys are 0-2 against the spread this year as dogs, so that does make me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo as well. Cowboys, yeah, they're riding really high right now. I think these are two evenly matched teams. Dallas having to go to Buffalo. Dallas great at home, not as good on the road, and there could be some weather in this game as well. I think that favors the Bills some because Josh Allen can just, it doesn't matter if it's 40-mile-an-hour winds, he can sling it in it. So
boy can yeet.
Bill's just desperate here. They need the win. It's a regular unit play because Dallas is playing so good right now. And but no, I feel decent about taking the Bills here. It's definitely a must watch, and I hope that Josh Allen pulls it off and makes it interesting as far as the AFC East goes with Miami down the stretch.
All right, we're in agreement here already in the late game slate. We're all on the same teams. All right, next up, we got the Ravens at the Jaguars. A really public side in the Ravens, and a lot of sharp money have taken the Jaguars plus 3.5 down to 3 right now on a lot of the books. But what we usually do in these spots, we got reverse line movement. We got 80% coming in on the Ravens, and 3.5, the line moves down to 3. That's classic reverse line movement, says you should take the Jaguars plus 3. The reason I want to take the Ravens in the spot is because they've had a little bit of unluckiness in some games against the spread. They're really good in primetime spots. They're not great as touchdown or more, 6 points or more, but they're down at -3 now. And let's not forget, the Jaguars are really bad at home. Just 2-4 against the spread, and 0-2 as home underdogs. They're in that spot once again. How many times have we seen the Jaguars be covering machines as favorites or on the road, and then they just lay an egg at home? Their home stadium is meaningless to them. They don't show up. They almost play worse at home every time. It's a primetime game, and we've seen what the Ravens did in that primetime spot against the Bengals. Just smashed them. Took Joe Burrow out of it. I just think the Ravens are a better team on both sides of the ball, and down at a field goal, I just think it's the better side to be on, even if it's the public side, even if the reverse line movement. I like the Ravens -3 at 1.5 units.
Same here at a 1.5 units. I just think Lamar is MVP. This is where he makes his, in prime time, he always plays well, but this is where he puts himself back into the conversation. Yeah, he's not thrown for a whole lot of touchdowns this year, but he's very comfortable. It's the first year I've seen Lamar roll out of the pocket and look to throw before he looks to run. I think that offensive coordinator coming in helps a lot. Obviously, Andrew's out for the season, but he's clicking with Odell. Defense, I think Baltimore's defense is a little fraudulent, but I think that everybody's just kind of been overvaluing the Jaguars all year. Trevor Lawrence still a little banged up. Still haven't seen him have too much rhythm and chemistry with Calvin Ridley. ETN may be able to run the ball in this Ravens defense some, but Roquan Smith and that Queen kid in the middle, it's tough. And then you got that safety from Notre Dame they drafted last year, Kyle Hamilton. A lot of times he comes down and plays in the box too. So I think they're going to ask Trevor Lawrence to try to beat you against Humphrey in their other corner, and I just don't know if he has the chemistry with his best receiver to do so. So I'm gonna take Ravens -3 here as well, and Lamar to shine in primetime.
Is it a regular unit and a half? You said.
Unit and a half.
And we're just like dialed in right now. This week we did something
We're gonna
different.
disagree on this last one.
We're gonna disagree. Okay, you're taking the birdie. Wait, there's two birds. Oh, spoiler. Don't know which bird you're taking. Probably a green one. Oh wait, they're both green. All right, I'll stop. Anyways, something we did this week that we don't normally do is we didn't talk much before these games, and like this year we did that a lot last year on the podcast, right? We just wouldn't talk about it, and all of a sudden we would just surprise each other. Boom! I'm taking this. You dummy! Why would you take the other side? Mm-hmm. But this year it's like sometimes we've talked about it and kind of lined up, but this week we didn't talk much, and we're pretty locked in. So I like it. I think it's a good sign. But all right, next up and last up in the Monday Night Football, we got the Eagles at the Seahawks, and it's one of the more public sides of the week is the Eagles on the road in Monday Night Football. And based on what you're saying, you make me feel like you're taking them. So this team, and you asked me last recap video, who's more in trouble, the Chiefs or the Eagles? I do think it's the Eagles. I think the defense has been regressing pretty hard. They've had the hardest schedule in the league by far, so I can't really, knock them too hard. They're playing some of the best teams in the league every week. But the Seahawks can't cover that great either, so I don't love this game. But the underdogs have been doing well in Monday Night Football. Seahawks at home. Oddly enough, the last two games have been against the same teams for these two teams. So, like, Seahawks have played the 49ers and Cowboys last two games, and the Eagles played the Cowboys and 49ers. And I think the crazy part is the Seahawks did better in both of those games. So I think there's a real problem with the Eagles, and I think these teams are not as much different as most people would think. So I like the Seahawks +4 regular unit though.
Yeah, I can get the Eagles -3.5. The Eagles, although they haven't blown out any teams this year, I think their biggest win was by like 14 points all year. It seems like most of their wins, it's Jalen Hurts just kind of grinding it out. They lean on you in the second half. But this Seahawks defense isn't great either. And I'm getting Jalen Hurts. And they get an extra day's rest. They're playing on Monday night. And I think that this Eagles defense has heard what you've been saying. Like, the defense is just absolutely horrible. They're in trouble. Well, they've played the Cowboys twice, the Bills, and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
In the past, that's their past 4 games. So now they get a Seattle team with a banged up Geno or Drew Lock. DK Metcalf, I mean, he may get into a fight with Darius Slay in the first quarter and get kicked out. I don't know. Seattle,
I hate what you did here because it makes a lot of sense. You took the Ravens in primetime and the Eagles. You're probably not going 0-2 in those picks. And it's like, I took a risk here because I stick my neck out for the Ravens, but then I'm going to take the Seahawks. And it's like, I could go 0-2 with that mix right there in primetime. I respect taking both favorites because I think there's no way that both of the favorites don't cover in those night games. I think one of them does.
Yeah, Monday night games are weird, but I just think the Eagles have something to prove to what everybody's been saying. I think that defense does step up, and I hate that I'm having to swallow the hook here. I'd much rather this game be at 3, but I don't know. I like Jalen, and I think whether he's down in the fourth quarter or up in the fourth quarter, they'll just lean on you and they'll get points out of it to wrap it up. So, and then those Seattle's playoff hopes will pretty much be diminished at that point. And they'll be in the hunt for a quarterback. Geno's not the answer. He didn't have the year that he had last year. This young defense, they started off playing good. They've fallen off. It's just a classic. It's a bad spot for Seattle. Classic bounce back for what I still think is a Super Bowl contender in the Eagles.
You know, out of all the games we disagreed on, this is the one that I'm like, dang, he might be on the right
You
side.
still
on
can
this one.
switch.
No, I don't know. I can't. I would take the Seahawks +4, but it's a scary one. That's why I did a regular unit, because I thought that. I was like, if I take the Ravens, a big public favorite in a night game, I should take both of them, because I just don't see both of them not covering. It's like, if I'm going to take the Ravens, I probably should take Eagles too. But I don't know. I'm weird like that. I have these, like, I don't know, weird, like,
I could see Vegas and
both
all the
dogs
public-
covering in these games. I don't know.
No,
man.
I'm saying I could see Vegas like having a good Saturday, good Sunday, and then primetime games. You get Lamar and Jalen Hurts, and then they kind of strut their stuff a little bit, and the public bounces back a little bit.
Yeah.
I know I'm on the chalk side.
Last
but
week was our bread and butter kind of week. I mean, we took a few favorites here and there, but overall, a lot of dogs upset outright.
What have you been saying the past couple weeks about road favorites and how they cover? That's two
They
of them.
are the highest
and you're
lately.
getting Lamar.
I think-
and you're getting Lamar and Jalen Hurts.
We'll check back in after this week, but I do think the public got cooked a little bit last week. But yeah, we'll check back in. I think road favorites percentages might be dropping, hopefully, but I really haven't kept tabs on it. But they are the
Hopefully not. No, hopefully not for these two games. For my sake.
Yeah, I like the Ravens, but I guess we'll take the 49ers. I mean, the Seahawks here +4. But all right, that's it for our prime time spot. We only disagreed on one in the late games. We disagreed on like 3 or 4 in the first one, so not too bad. Tune in Monday for our recap video to determine how we did this week in week 15 and see who's the better of the week. Like the video if you've enjoyed the content so far, and subscribe. Put us on. Send the share this link to someone else who likes betting, like sports betting. We've been killing it this year, both above 53 or 4%, both profitable this year, just like last year. We're here to bring it in and close it out with a good 59%, hopefully 60%. That'd be beautiful. But thanks for tuning in. Let's cover the spread as always. Peace.
Peace.